Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you know I always do my shout outs. Yes, I have to do my shout outs to all the people who decide to come through. Yes, come through and support the channel. It means so much. So yes, let's get that out the way. And first up is Mr. Kevin Slims. Yes, Kevin has been with me for a minute and is unwavering in his support for the read. He is a ride or die, ride or die. He is such a wonderful person, and I'm so thankful that he is a part of this community. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Kevin. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for coming through. And Tiger Mommy came through. Yes, Tiger Mommy is always coming through. She is so supportive. She rides so hard for the read, and she supports this community and this channel like nobody's business. She is the best of the best. She is everything and she knows it. I am so thankful for her. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Tiger Mommy. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for being here. And Yulette came through. Yes, she did. Yulette is just everything. She is so sweet and so kind, and she is just a huge part of this community. And when she is not around, you miss her because she is such a huge part of this community. She is the best. She is the best of the best, and I am so lucky to have her. I am just over the moon that she is a part of this community. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Yulette. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for being here. And cool Cat Harlem came through. Yes, she did. Cat is the coolest. I'm telling you, she is just everything. She's smart, she's wise, she's funny, and she is a part of this community, and we're all so much better for it. I am so thankful for Cat. She rides so hard for the read, and I appreciate that so very much. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Kat. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, thank you for coming through. All right, y'all, we're going to play this and we'll talk on the other side. All right, y'all, I want to give another quick shout out to my faves, the people who decided to come through and support the channel, and that would be Mr. Kevin Slims, Tiger Mommy, Yulette, and Cool Cat Harlem. Thank y'all so very much. Y'all mean everything. Y'all don't have to do what you do, but you do it anyway, and that is what makes you so special. I appreciate you so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the super thanks, but most of all, y'all, thank you for being here. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is, and y'all know what I do when I am putting the read together. I hit these internet streets, and let me tell you, I have been on these streets most of the day. The streets are kind of quiet, and I believe it has a lot to do with that statement coming from Harry and Meghan yesterday. The flying monkeys have calmed down. Yes, they have. But have they calmed all the way down? No, I don't even know if that's possible because we all know that they don't know how to shut up and move on. But they have calmed down quite a bit. I mean, we were getting articles about Meghan. I mean, hit pieces, lies, smears about every 90 minutes there for a while. And now it has calmed down. It has. It seems that they have absolutely decided that they need to pull back a little bit because Harry and Meghan is not going to stand for it. Now, is some of those lies still out there? And are they lying about the same things that have been discredited? Yeah, they are. But I can feel the temperature going down. I really can. Harry and Meghan put a kibosh on a lot of this nonsense. They threw cold water on them and they responded by calming down. So we don't have a huge amount of things to talk about. And I'm definitely not going to keep you long on this particular podcast because it's not really that much to talk about. But what we do have to talk about is kind of interesting. It seems like Charles is coming to America. I think he's supposed to address a full session of Congress while he's here. So I don't know how that's going to go for him since Congress also wants to talk to him about Prince Andrew. Yes, that came out in the Times. Yes, that Congress wants to talk to Charles about what he knew about Prince Andrew. So that's going to be interesting. And also, the one that shall not be named, he has been insulting the UK. So that's going to make it kind of difficult for Charles as well. I saw Chris Ship, post about that, what the one that shall not be named said. They have been calling on him to cancel, and the one that shall not be named kind of threatened Charles if he would cancel. He doesn't, we all know how the one that shall not be named, he is so uncouth. But yeah, that happened. So I don't know if it's going to be an easy time for Charles here in the U.S. I don't think it's going to be an easy visit. I'll put it that way. And we're going to talk about that. And a very odd article came out about Kitty Cat. And I'm telling you, it is hilarious. It is. And people just don't know what to make of it. It is the oddest thing. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about a panel discussion that they had over there at the SCUM, big head Matt Wilkerson. I think it's called what is it, Royal Exclusive or something like that? I don't even know what a lot of those little raggedy shows' names are. But they had a panel discussion that I found very interesting, and it was about Invictus. And it kind of confirms a lot of the concerns that Squatties had about Invictus being in the UK. So we're going to talk about that. And we have a few other things we're going to talk about. I'm going to play a soundbite also from that panel discussion, and we're going to talk about it. But yeah, y'all know how to do it. Lock in. Let's get started. Y'all know I'm not going to keep you long, but I will keep you entertained. And we're going to start with this. And I just had to start with this because Squatties are still loving it. They're still basking in the glow of this statement from Harry and Meghan's spokesperson about this so-called petition. I mean, it was as if Squatties were so hungry for Harry and Meghan to push back. They are still filling my timeline up with all of their comments about it. Everybody is loving it. Everybody is saying that this absolutely set the right tone when it comes to those flying monkeys. To let them know that no, if you come out with some nonsense like this, you will get dealt with. Now, I have saw where some squatties are saying that, well, maybe Harry and Meghan could have handled it a different way. Their rationale is that if you address each and every situation that comes up, you kind of lose credibility. But I fundamentally disagree with that in every form and fashion. And this is the reason why. You are giving them what they want. They want to be able to abuse Harry and Meghan in peace. And now that they know Harry and Meghan will come for them, they'll think once, twice, maybe even 3 times before they put out some nonsense, before they absolutely embarrass themselves with the lies that they choose to tell. Because some of these lies are so ridiculous. They are. And some of them are just downright malicious and dangerous. Now, those right there are the ones that you address. Now, is Harry and Meghan going to address every article that is written about them, every negative article? Of course not. But when you get a character assassinating article like that one in Variety, and you get a dangerous article like this one you got about some kind of petition just whipping up hate against a couple, trying to get people to hurt them, yeah, you address that. And so I really feel that Harry and Meghan has been on point when it comes to choosing the right fights to fight, which articles to address. I really feel that they have done an excellent job on that. And like I said, they're not going to address every negative article. Why would they? But some articles that are so malicious and so damaging to their reputation, if you don't address them, you cannot allow them to slide. That's what I'm saying. Because that one, that Variety article, that hit at the heart of their livelihood. They were trying to damage their reputation within the Hollywood communities. They wanted to damage their reputation to the point where they couldn't work, that they could not make a living to support their family. This is how serious this SHIT was from Variety. You have to address SHIT like that. And then this whole thing about this petition whipping up hatred, some crazy might really think that they're paying for Harry and Meghan's security and want to do something to them. Of course, you got to address that. So, yeah, like I said, not everything, but some things you just cannot allow to slide. I'm just saying. And this squatty posted Harry and Meghan's statement from their spokesperson and said, I can't stop reading this because their PR team ain't playing. The media and the haters got dragged for filth. They forgot Harry and Meghan are not under the firm anymore. They can respond to your dumb SHIT. Their PR spokesman sliced and diced, and now the haters are crying. FA, FO. Exactly. And they have quieted down. They have. They absolutely are not out here running around just writing whatever they want to, just all manners of nonsense. Ever since Harry and Meghan came out with this statement, they have calmed the F down. And this squatty posted Harry and Meghan's spokesperson's statement and said, I love that the Sussexes are not taking crap. I also want to point out that the fake petition has nothing to do with Australians at all. It's being driven by British media and William and Kate bot farms. Where is the lie? Where is it? Because I saw where you could go in there and absolutely vote as many times as you want to. And also, it is being said that people outside of Australia are the ones who are voting. So, yeah, this is exactly what this squatty is saying. This is not organic. This is made up. This is nothing but a fevered-minded dream from the ugly old hags and the derangers with help from Kensington Palace's bots. This is all it is. And like I said, even with all of that, they still can only muster a little over 30,000 votes. It's ridiculous. We did way more than that when we were voting on all the different platforms that Meghan's podcast were nominated on. And this squatty goes on to say, as always, their dumb stunts are see-through and pathetic. Where it's a lie. But y'all know I called this out a long time ago. I knew this was nothing but nonsense. This is what they do. Y'all remember with Pat Tillman, they made a petition up with that. They made a petition up when Harry got the Aviator Award. They made a petition up when they went to Nigeria. They made a petition up when they went to Colombia. This is nothing new. This is what they do. This is straight out of their twisted minded playbook. I'm just saying. And this squatty posted the statement and said, is anyone else thinking that Harry might have actually written this himself? Y'all think so? We all know that Harry, isn't he a Virgo? They say Virgos are very, very petty. Now, my mom, she was a Virgo and she was the sweetest person, but she didn't take no ish off of nobody. She didn't. And she was messy and petty. She was messy and petty. So y'all know now where I get all of my messiness and pettiness from. Yes, I learned at the feet of the master because she was a master at it. She really, really was. But back to Harry. Maybe Harry did write it. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this. Now, I saw in our comments where some of the readers were saying that it sounded like Harry. It could have been Harry. So I don't know. It could have been Harry. Because, like I said, Virgos are petty. And I want to put this up. I saw this come down my timeline. And if you read the title of the article from the Fail, you really think it's something negative. They have a way of making something positive sound very negative. I saw that in page 6 as well. And we're going to talk about it a little later, where someone says something really nice about Meghan, and they can't just go with that. They have to twist and manipulate the headline into a negative. They can't help themselves. And that's exactly what has happened here. This article says, Meghan Markle is ready to return to acting after collapse of Netflix deal. She'll blow everyone's mind. Yes, doesn't that sound negative? That doesn't sound like someone is really saying something nice about Meghan. And the squatty that posted this said, Julia Roberts' brother, Eric, who worked briefly on Suits, and his wife Eliza said amazing things about Meghan. Both Eric and Eliza are demanding Meghan return to acting because she is a star. How sweet. But yeah, they didn't make the headline sound like that's what they said, did they? This is the fail. This is the agenda, the narrative being exposed. This is the invisible contract showing itself. Because this right here should be a positive article. Well, at least a positive headline. But look what they did. I mean, they show themselves every time, don't they? And I'm going to put this up. This is the article. And he says some really, really nice things about Meghan. People who know Meghan, who has met Meghan, always have positive things to say about Meghan. Isn't that funny? And the ones who have never met Meghan or even known anybody who has known Meghan always have something negative to say about her. It is funny how that goes, isn't it? But I digress. This is the article. The title, like I said, is Meghan Markle is ready to return to acting after collapse of Netflix deal, which we all know is a lie and has been called out as a lie, but they still continue to repeat it. I mean, do they have no journalistic integrity? Absolutely not. This right here proves that they do not, because they know that this is a lie, but yet and still they have to do it. They can't help themselves. And then it says she'll blow everyone's mind. And the article goes on and says Meghan Markle will return to acting after the unraveling of her exclusive $100 million Netflix deal. A friend and former Suits co-star insists to the Daily Mail in an exclusive interview. And the veteran actor Eric Roberts says he believes a Hollywood comeback by the former TV star will blow everyone's mind. She will come back, Julia Roberts' brother said, speaking on the red carpet at a charity gala last week alongside his casting director and manager, wife, Liza. It's time, and Meghan needs to come back to work. I feel like her whole family will support it, and she is amazing, Liza added. The couple reflected on Meghan's future amidst reports that her Netflix exclusive production deal and business brand as ever collaboration has been downgraded to a first look deal. These people, I swear, they want Meghan to fail so bad. They cannot help themselves. Can you imagine wanting someone to fail as bad as they do? And they keep getting disappointed because Meghan just keeps on winning. I saw this saying, and it is just absolutely chef's kiss. It says, winners win and losers complain about winners winning. Isn't that the truth? And that's exactly what's going on here. I love it. And I love Eric and his wife to come out and be so supportive of Meghan. It is so funny to me. Everybody that has known Meghan always get asked about Meghan. I have never saw anything like it. I mean, if you saw her one day at the supermarket, they want to have an interview or ask you about her. I have never saw anything like it before in my life. Meghan is the only person that I know of. If you ever have any kind of contact with her, you will forever be asked your opinion of her and asked about her. It's the craziest thing. But this article absolutely takes its snipes at Meghan because we all know the Daily Fail cannot help itself. But it was really nice what Eric and his wife Eliza said about Meghan. And they're right. If Meghan decides to go back to acting, I think she has a cameo role coming up in a movie called Close Friends or something like that. But if she goes back and does a full movie and act in it, she will be terrific. Meghan is a winner, and we all know what winners do. They win. And speaking of exactly that, this post right here, I had to include it because it's talking about how Harry and Meghan are winners and they are going to continue to win no matter what. This is what he says. I find it so funny when derangers and professional trolls in the press claim that Harry and Meghan are to be broke. Ha! If they only realize Harry and Meghan can make millions selling air on Etsy. This squatty said Harry and Meghan will never be broke because they can sell air on Etsy. They can. Harry and Meghan will never be broke. They won't because it's always going to be someone to support them. And it says there is no world where they voluntarily end up broke. None. Exactly. Because they're winners. And one thing that winners know how to do, and that's win. And I'm going to put this up. This squatty is posting about page 6. And we know page 6 is nothing but a scandalous rag. It is Murdoch on, and all it does is attack Harry and Meghan. And as you can see, they're writing about Chris Jackson, who is the official photographer for Getty. When it comes to the royal family, he takes all or pretty much all of the pictures for them. Evidently, he has a book or something. I have no idea. But page 6 could care less if he had a book or not. What they were looking for is some kind of way to tie Harry and Meghan into a story. And this is what they did. They said royal photographer lifts lid on Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's behind the scene behavior. Do you see how they were trying to make it very, very sinister? Like somehow Harry and Meghan had negative behavior behind the scenes. You see how they did that? This is the invisible contract in full force. This is the smear campaign in full force. We all know, like I said earlier, page 6 is nothing but a rag, a Murdoch rag. and it works in favor of that family. Allegedly, Willie made a deal with Murdoch that he would receive $1 million in compensation for his phone being hacked by the scum. And also in return, him and Kitty would enter into an invisible contract where they would get just positive coverage while Harry and Meghan would receive nothing but the smoke from the scum. Yes, they would get skewered, they would get smeared, and Harry would get nothing when it comes to the phone hacking. This was the plan. This is what they put in place. And so, yeah, this is not surprising when it's coming from page 6 because this is the contract in which Willie and Kitty and Murdoch entered into. And this is just evidence of it happening because here it is on full display in articles like this. Just cannot write anything positive about Harry and Meghan, even making the positive negative. But I digress. The squatty that posted this said, clickbait, he wouldn't dare. And Chris Jackson himself said, I've always had a great experience photographing them both. He further said of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Now, what was wrong with that? But page 6 could not. They could not do a positive article or make a positive statement about Harry and Meghan. They always have to take the low road. I'm just saying. But this squatty said it's nothing but clickbait because he never said anything negative about Harry and Meghan. And I'm going to put this up because this squatty posted what Chris Jackson said and what was printed within the article. It says royal photographer Chris Jackson said he always enjoyed working with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Jackson, Getty Images official royal photographer, spoke with page 6 at a party promoting his new book, Royal Majesty, the British royal family in a new era at In Pale on the Upper East Side Wednesday. I've always had a great experience photographing them both, he said of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Isn't it funny? That whole family over there, they don't write an article or ask any questions about them. How was it photographing the king who you have been photographing since you got the job? I mean, every time they go out, every time you are photographing him, why are people not asking questions about that? Or Kitty, or Willie? They always have to ask about Harry and Meghan, who he hadn't photographed in over 6 years. Harry and Meghan hasn't been a part of that working royal family for over 6 years, going on 7, and they're asking a photographer who hasn't officially photographed them since then how it was to photograph Harry and Meghan. It makes no sense to me, except everybody wants to bite off a Harry and Meghan shine. Every time it's a book about the royal family to be sold, Harry and Meghan has to be front and center. I mean, every excerpt, every picture, everything has to be about Harry and Meghan. And I'm sure he has something in that book about Harry and Meghan, and he's going to try to promote it. The squatty that posted this said, very nice of him, but not surprised. This is what everyone with a real name and real face who met the couple says. Exactly. Harry and Meghan are a nice couple. They're nice together. They're nice individual. And people who meet them always say the same thing, that Harry and Meghan are very, very nice, they're relatable, and they are down to earth. And I'm going to put this up because it looks like Harry and Meghan has a victory along with these parents that they have been advocating for, against these big tech companies. And because these parents had lost their children to social media, So this was in People. It says Meghan Markle and Prince Harry praise landmark verdict against YouTube and Meta. The truth has been heard. For too long, families have paid the price for platforms built with total disregard for the children they reach, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex said. It says Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are speaking out after a major legal decision involving some of the world's largest and biggest tech platforms, following a Los Angeles jury ruling that found Meta and YouTube liable for negligence in a landmark social media addiction case. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex shared a powerful response, calling the outcome a turning point for families. But y'all know what I think or what I fear, and that is this will get overturned. And if it goes to the Supreme Court, I really fear that it's going to get overturned because those tech bros, they have a lock on the Supreme Court. They do. They have a lock on the one that shall not be named. So I don't look for this to stand up. I don't. It's a victory for today. But I would not be surprised if they take it to the Supreme Court that it's not overturned. Because, like I said, they have a lock on the Supreme Court. Everyone is corrupt in Washington right now. I mean, it is a sewer, it is a swamp, and it includes the Supreme Court. And it goes on to say the verdict is a reckoning, the couple said in a statement to People. For too long, families have paid the price for platforms built with total disregard for the children they reach. We stand with every parent and young person who refuse to be silent. Today, the truth has been heard and the precedent has been set. The case was brought by a young woman who alleged that the platform was designed to be addictive, which had an impact on her well-being as she grew up. Jurors ultimately agreed with the plaintiff, finding that the company's action played a substantial role in causing harm. As part of the ruling, Meta and YouTube were ordered to pay $3 million in compensation damages, with Meta responsible for 70% of the total. Jurors also determined that Meta and Google should pay punitive damages tied to findings of malice or fraud, with the amount still to be decided. So right there, that's where the big bucks are going to come in, the punitive damages. I am interested to see exactly how much that's going to be because the United States is not like the UK. When you win a lawsuit like this, you get big, big, big bucks. I'm just saying millions and millions and millions. So I'm expecting something in the range of 10 million, 20 million, something like that. It says today's verdict in Los Angeles and yesterday's ruling in New Mexico are landmark victories for families, advocates, and young people everywhere, they said, adding that justice has caught up to big tech. Like I said, I don't know if it's caught up yet, but we shall see. We shall see. It says the harm isn't in parenting, it's in product design. Yeah, I agree with that because it is difficult parenting children today. It really is. Now, I parented my children, they were younger, and it was before the internet. And then as they came into adolescence, They had the internet and they also had cell phones, and it made it really, really difficult. And now it's even more. It's even more now. And all the social media platforms and all the apps and all of that. I didn't have all of that to deal with. And to have to deal with that today and the bullying that goes on online, it is very difficult to parent children today. And I recognize that it is even more difficult to parent them today than it was when I was raising my children. So, yeah, I am so glad and so happy for these parents who have lost their children to find some kind of peace and some kind of victory in knowing that they're helping the future generations to be protected from these platforms, from these tech companies, because at the end of the day, they don't really care about your children. They care about their bottom line. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, we're going to change gears and I am going to play you a sound bite, and I'm going to put up a picture. And this is of a panel that they were discussing Invictus. And it is just ridiculous how these people think. I'm not going to really talk a lot about it. I'm going to let y'all listen to it, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. So I'm putting the picture up and I'm going to play the soundbite.
But while there is still this feud between the brothers and this kind of Wales versus Sussex camps, I think it's going to be very hard for them to receive that warm welcome. And it's going to be focused on the Invictus Games coming up in Birmingham next year. What happens then? What kind of welcome do they receive then? Is there royal family support for what is a really, really important event taking place to support veterans?
That's it.
And that's really going to focus minds.
I think another important player is Catherine. If Catherine is seen at the Invictus Games, dressed not in a fancy gown, but in some combat trousers and some Doc Martens, and she's got a polo shirt on, and she's like, yeah, you go, we support Harry, this is lovely. The public could suddenly be like, oh, well, we can't hate Meghan Markle because Catherine actually wants to be friends with her as well. So that would help diffuse the situation.
When I tell you that these three people have to be the biggest fools that I have heard from in a while, and JJ is absolutely out of his mind. Talking about Kate showing up at Invictus with some, well, I don't know what he's talking about, with a polo shirt and some Doc Martens. And how can anybody hate Meghan when she says, Kate says it's okay? Let me enlighten JJ a little. You know, I understand that they live in this gas-lit world of a royal family and a monarchy, but let me enlighten him about the world. Nobody gives a shit about Kate or if she shows up to Invictus or not. And our preference would be not. It is so funny to me that these people still think that this royal family is something to be looked upon as special. Nobody cares anything about Kate and her opinion of Meghan. I mean, it's ridiculous that these people can sit on panels and really think that people give two flying F's about what Kate's opinion is of Meghan and if she shows up to Invictus or not. To be gaslit this much is like being a crackhead woman who was once fine and still thinks that in spite of being wrung out like a dish rag, that she could still pull the finest man in the club. That is the level of delusion that these people have when it comes to that family over there. They don't seem to understand that everything that was is gone and was buried with Queen Elizabeth II. The respect of the world, the deference of the world, the mystique of that family. They have been shown to be mediocre, subpar individuals, people who nobody feel is somehow superior to them. And here you are still in the depths of your delusion, believing that the rest of the world is right there with you? No, the rest of the world has saw behind the curtain. We know who Kate is. Kate is just this ordinary, subpar, mediocre woman who ran a honeypot on a very dumb man. And this man that she ran the honeypot on, his only achievement is to be born. That's it. And here you are thinking that the rest of the world sees this family like you do. I mean, still, that right there is the absolute mind-blowing part of it. Still, don't you know all of the respect, all of the deference, all of the mystique was lowered down into those tombs with Queen Elizabeth II. You will never get that back because at the time that the Queen came along, it was no social media. It was no way of seeing behind the curtain. But now we have saw behind the curtain. And if y'all think that Willie and Kitty is going to make the monarchy great again, woo, are y'all in for a shock. People are not going to respect, have any kind of deference, or Kitty and Willie are not going to have any mystique when it comes to being royal. They have shown their hand. We see who they are, and that's mediocre. That is the delusion of a royalist. They really think that that royal family is somehow still revered. Nobody gives a tinker's damn about any of them. All we care about is Harry and Meghan, those babies, and that they get from over there as quickly as possible and safely as possible. Because if it was up to the rest of us, they would never, ever return to that island again. These people are crazy. They are not just crazy, they are batshit crazy, gaslit into oblivion. When you can sit on national television and talk about a family, I have never, I mean, the amount of gaslighting that has gone on in this country to believe that this raggedy bunch of grifters is somehow special and you have to show some kind of deference for them, and then Meghan should want to be accepted by them. I mean, it is crazy. It is crazy to another level. These people are absolutely useless and they're absolutely crazy. I mean, who cares? Who cares? All we want is for the veterans to have a good time and Harry and Meghan to get back on American soil safely. That's it. I mean, who cares? And we really don't give a shit about Kate. When will they understand? Nobody gives a shit about Kate. And I'm going to put this up. This is a repost, and the original post is talking about this particular soundbite. And they say this: these three fools saying the Sussexes wouldn't want Kate to attend the Invictus Games because Kate would outshine Meghan. This is how deep the delusion is for these folks. I mean, that's the reason I have no patience for them. And they really think that somehow Meghan wants Kate's approval. Now, to me, this right here is a perfect example of a culture disconnect. Now, my British Readers, y'all help me out here. Now, is it your culture to seek approval from people? Or is it just these sycophant royalists who are seeking this approval from this family, or think that Meghan should be seeking this approval from this family? Because it's foreign to me. Because as a Black American, we are taught in our home not to seek approval from anybody, that we are good enough, that Black is beautiful, that you are just as good as anybody else. And I think that right there maybe was the rub for that family when it comes to Meghan, because Meghan didn't feel that they were better than her. And you know why? Because they're not. She's actually better than they are. She's more educated. She's more well rounded. She is more talented. She has all of the riz that anybody needs to be a royal. So, yeah, I think that right there really was a rub for them when Meghan was not impressed. But what they didn't seem to understand is this is the culture in which Meghan comes from. She was raised by a Black woman. Meghan came from a Black woman that came from a Black woman that came from a Black woman. And Black women are not easily impressed. They are not, and they don't seek validation from other people. We're raised that way. And so I think this is why these people don't understand that Meghan has gone on with her life, that Meghan has gone on to thrive and to be successful, that she left that country and never looked back. She showed them the back of her head and she hasn't returned. And so because of that, they feel some kind of way. And they think that Kate, somehow Kate is better than Meghan. What are these people smoking? I mean, they had to be on the crack pipe before they showed up to this panel, because these people are cracked out. They are absolutely delusional. Can you believe that they would fix their mouth to say something like that? And JJ said JJ believes that the Sussexes shouldn't be provided security, but still believe they'll be a huge asset to the royal family. I mean, these people are crazy. They are crazy. And they don't get why Meghan doesn't want to be a part of this craziness. This is lunacy. And they don't even see it. And this particular squatty that reposted said, this was absolute garbage. It was. I mean, I can't believe that these people are this delusional over a family of mediocre grifters. It is unreal to me that these people are still thinking that somehow this family has to shine. And I want to put this up. This is a repost, and the original post is a squatty talking about this same soundbite and says, as I repeatedly said again and again, it was a huge mistake to award the Invictus Games to Birmingham and in the UK. The press and the palace and even the royal led army is going to do everything they can to create a story to ruin the games. And they are talking about that part when this woman was talking about the Invictus Games and making it about the relationship of the family instead of what Invictus is about. It is not about getting Willie and Charles and Kate to come over and to have a big kumbaya of, having a big kumbaya moment and all of that. It's not for that. It's not to be overshadowed like that. It is so funny to me that they're willing to try to overshadow Invictus, but when Meghan shows up, somehow her presence, just her mere presence, is somehow making it all about her and not the vets. It makes no sense. And I agree with this squatty. I am so nervous about Invictus being in Birmingham. And this other squatty that reposted this said, I told you so. Yeah, I know. And I'm going to put this up. Y'all know Charles is supposed to come to Washington, D.C. to have a state dinner with the one that shall not be named. And this popped up in the Times today. It says a congressman wants Charles to answer questions on what the royal family knew about Andrew's relationship with the late sex offender. Now, Charles is supposed to give a speech in front of full session of Congress. I wonder how that's going to go. It's going to be very interesting when him and the horse shows up. And this squatty that posted it said, this U.S. visit by Charles is going to be very entertaining. Public humiliation at full volume. Get your popcorn ready. Yes. We have something to look forward to. I don't know how it's going to shake out, but it's going to be interesting. Y'all tell me what y'all think. And look at this. This came out in iPaper, another opinion piece, but this one is about Kate. And the title is Kate Controls the World's Media. This is how she's done it. Did I go to sleep and miss something? Because does Kate control the world's media and I don't know anything about it? The last time Kate went viral for anything, and that was when she came up missing with her fake cancer and whatever else went on in that situation. And people were only looking for her and talking about her because they thought her dumb husband had did something to her. They really believed that they really believe that William could have done something to her. Now, I'm just saying, I'm just relaying what is said. So that's the last time anybody cared anything about Kate on a global stage. So I don't know what this person is talking about. But I digress. It says, somehow Kate has turned her press coverage around to become one of the most celebrated women globally. Really? I mean, am I living on another planet? I said that JJ Nim was living on another planet, but evidently it's me. I'm living on another planet because on my planet, Kate does not dominate nothing. Most of the people don't even know who she is, and the rest of them don't care. So I don't know what this person is talking about, but this is what she says her opinion is. And I say, yeah, it is an opinion, not a fact. And the squatter that posted this said, this article is a textbook example of Stockholm Syndrome in the British press. Where is the lie? Perfect description. It says the media has been locked in the palace basement so long they have started writing love letters to their captors. To claim she controls the world's media ignores the fact that the international press, who don't have to play the rota game, often laugh at these stage productions. It's only the UK press that treats a filtered Instagram reel like a historical document of deep transparency. Where is the lie? Yes, people laughed at that shampoo commercial because they called it a shampoo commercial. What is it? Cialis commercial. They called it all different kinds of things because, like I said, nobody is checking for Kate. The last time people were checking for Kate globally was when she came up missing. And then when she showed up, people went straight back to not caring about Kate anymore. I'm just saying. And I'm going to put this up as evidence that nobody cares about Kate. Nobody's checking for Kate in her own country. Look at this. This was posted by British Vogue. Okay. And after 16 hours being up, because it says Kate Middleton co-signs the hottest accessory of the season. I guess they're talking about that dinner plate she has on her head, but I digress on that point. But as you can see, after 16 hours up, the globally iconic Kate, at least that's what they want us to believe, only garnered 71 likes. She wasn't even able to break 100. Now, they want us to believe that she is some kind of global icon, and this woman can't even break 100 likes on a post in her own country. This is British Vogue, not an international Vogue, a British Vogue. And as you can see, it got 14 comments and 8 reposts after 16 hours. And they want us to believe that this is a global icon. And as you can see, it didn't even get up to 2,000 views. This is why I say Kate knows exactly who she is. That's why they don't want Meghan in country, because they know Meghan is a global icon, that Meghan does control the global press, because Meghan can go to lunch and go viral. Kate has to go missing. I'm just saying. Y'all know I love to end on a positive note, and it looks like Kelly, Meghan's friend, has delivered her baby. Yes, look what it says. It says, huge congratulations to Kelly McKee Zaffin and her family on the arrival of their beautiful baby boy, Jack. Yes, Meghan's friend has a new baby boy, and Meghan probably has a new little nephew, because y'all know their friends are their family. All right, y'all. If you enjoyed the podcast, give it a thumbs up. If you hadn't subscribed and you want to be a part of this tribe, the best tribe on these internet streets, go down in your settings, look around, and find that subscribe button and go ahead on and subscribe. Also, look for the promote button. Yes, promote the video. It is a new feature and it really, really helps the channel. If you go and just click it, I think you can do 3 a day. I don't know how many you can do a day, but please hype up the video. I really, really would appreciate it. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Bye.